Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Morning,
My
sir.
voice is audible to you, right? My desktop is visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, today I am going to verify the property. Okay, so h of x is always going to be greater than or equal to 0, which is also less than or equal to log m base 2. So, we are going to prove this. So, where m is going to be the size of alphabet. So, first we are going to prove the lower bound. That is h of x is always greater than or equal to 0. So it is a simple proof. So on the left hand side I am going to write h of x. So it is nothing. What is general formula for h of x? It is nothing but minus summation of p of xi log p of xi base 2. So we know p of xi is always going to be positive number and also so which may be either equal to 1 or less than 1, right? So it is in between 0 and 1, right? The probability, discrete probability will be always between 0 and 1. So when you are going to write h of x, so we are getting this expression. Okay. So this is general expression again, h of x. So we know 1 by, so because p of xi is going to be, 1 by p of xi is going to be greater than 1. Because the value is, p of xi is always going to be in between 0 and 1. So log 1 by p of xi is going to be, I can write it as log 1 by p of xi base 2 can be written as log 1 by p of xi base 10 into log 10 base 2. So this is known to you. So when 1 by p of xi is 1, the above term, okay, 1 by p of xi. So there is a log of 1 by p of xi is going to become 0. So when 1 by p of xi is going to be greater than 1, so the value will be nothing but greater than 0. Okay. So this log term, okay, will be nothing but greater than 0. So log 1 by p of xi base 2 is going to be greater than or equal to 0. So I can write p of xi into log of this term. Okay. So when I write that, so I'm going to get this expression. So p of xi into log 1 by p of xi base 2 is going to be greater than or equal to 0. So p of xi is going to be positive. So log 1 by p of x is also going to be greater than or equal to 0. Automatically this term is going to be greater than or equal to 0. So we have proved the lower bound for h of x greater than or equal to 0. So this is lower bound. Okay. So this is clear. So it is a simple proof. Okay, next. So we are going to prove h of x is going to be less than or equal to log m base 2. Okay. Okay. So to prove this, so I'm going to write h of x. Okay. So I'm going to prove h of x is going to be, we are going to prove this. So I'm going to take log m to left hand side. Okay. So I'm going to subtract from h of x, log m. So h of x minus log m is nothing but, so I'm replacing h of x by simply by general formula. It is a summation of pi log 1 by pi. So to remove minus sign, I should take 1 by m. Okay, log 1 by m, I can, so that is equal to minus log m. So simply I can write it as minus log m can be replaced by log 1 by m. So I am writing that. So after writing this, so I am going to add one more term. So we know sum of all the probability, discrete probability, okay, associated with an event is going to be always 1. So by inserting this term, so anyway, this value is going to be 1, right? Summation of I1 to m pi is nothing but 1. So we are going to insert this in the log 1 by m term, right? So when I do this, so in the second, so first part I have summation of I1 to m pi log 1 by pi. So in the second term is nothing but log 1 by m. I am inserting this summation of pi I1 to m. Okay, so by inserting this, any of the value is not going to change. Now we have summation of pi in both the terms, so we can take outside. So we are going to get log x plus log m. So it can be written as log x into log xm. Okay, so you can write it as log 1 by pi m. Okay, so this is known to you. So once you are going to write this expression after doing writing this, so we are going to apply the logarithmic inequality. So this is standard formula. Okay, so we know logarithmic inequality ln x is always less than or equal to x minus 1. So when you write this, so okay. So first base, so we have base is 2. I'm going to convert this into natural log. Okay, first. How to convert? So log x base 2 can be written as log x base e into log e base 2. So I can take log e base 2 outside. Okay, then so I'm going to get natural log. Okay, so logarithm inequality can be applied for natural log. Okay, ln x less than or equal to x minus 1. So when I do this, okay, what is my x value? It is nothing but so 1 by pi m, right? So when I write this, I am getting this expression. Okay, so first I am going to replace this base 2. So log x base 2 can be written as log x base e into log e base 2. So I am writing that. Okay, so this one. So log 1 by pi m base 2 can be written as log 1 by pi m base e into log e base 2. So after doing the substituting this, so I can take log e base 2 outside, and this natural log can be replaced by this expression. Okay, so I'm going to replace the equal to symbol because I'm going to replace this by x minus 1. Okay, so I can replace that equal symbol simply by less than or equal to. Okay, so x minus 1 is greater than or equal to ln x. So I'm going to replace this term, right? I'm replacing this term. Okay, log 1 by pi m base e. So by using logarithmic inequality, I'm going to express this as x minus 1. Okay, what is my x? So it is 1 by pi m. So when I do this, I'm getting this expression. Okay, next. So I'm going to take log e base 2. First, I'm rearranging that equation and I'm taking this log e base 2 outside, okay, of summation. So in the summation term, I have 1 by m minus pi. Okay, so I think I have already written here. So I'm going to take this to left hand side. So right hand side term is nothing but 0. So I am going to prove that. Okay, I'm taking h of x minus log m. I'm going to express everything, and I'm going to prove that is equal to 0. Okay, less than or equal to 0. So when this term is going to become 0 only when pi is equal to 1 by m, where I is varying from 1 to m. Okay, 1 to m. So when m is going to be the number of alphabet or symbols generated by source, okay, so m be the total alphabet generated by source. So when the probability of occurrence of all the symbols are equal, so in such case probability is going to be 1 by m. If pi is 1 by m, so this term is going to become 0. So right hand side becomes 0. Now we have proved the upper bound for this. Okay. So this one, h of x is less than or equal to log m base 2. So anybody is not clear with this? So shall I proceed?
Yes, sir.
So today I can upload the material. Okay, I'll upload this PDF also. Okay, so we have proved h of x. What is lower bound for h of x and then upper bound for h of x? This is going to be upper bound. We have already proved the lower bound. Okay, so after proving this, I think I can. Okay. See, from the proof itself, you can say this one, right? So, entropy function is anyway. So, the second, the property 3 is nothing but entropy function is symmetrical in every pk. Okay. So, when the probability associated with this is going to be p1, p2, pn, even if the probability or the probability of occurrence of symbol is going to change, but with the same probability. So anyway, it is not going to change that average information or entropy value. It remains same. So it is said to be entropy function is symmetrical. H of P1, P2, Pn. Okay. Suppose if there are n number of P1 associated with an experiment, and if we know the probability of occurrence or P1, P2, Pn, suppose if the probability associated with the first one is going to be P2 and second one I'm changing to P1. So even if it is changing, anyway, if you add all these probabilities, sum is always going to be 1. Same probability only we are going to use. So when you compute H, so it is going to be equal. So it means the entropy function is symmetrical function in every pk. Okay. So we have already proved the upper bound for h of x, so that is going to be said to be extremal property. So when all events are equally likely, the average uncertainty associated with that will be maximum. Okay. When h is going to be maximum only when all the probabilities are equal. Okay. If m number of alphabets are going to be generated and if the probabilities are 1 by m. Okay. So in such case, you will get maximum value of h. So anyway, using additivity property, we are going to do simple problem. Okay, I can explain that additivity property again, and then you can do simple problem. Okay. Okay, I am going to take only with simple. Okay. Maybe this is E1 and E2. Okay. So I'm going to take simple. So sample space consisting of only two events, okay, E1 and E2. Suppose if the probability associated with probability of occurrence of E1, I'm going to take it as 1 by 2, okay, and then the probability, so I have only two events, and if I know, if I add those two probabilities, I'm going to always get 1, okay. So next, I'm going to divide this into the same one. I'm going to redraw. Okay, this is my E1. Okay. Maybe F1. Okay. And F2, I'm dividing. So I'm going to divide E2 event into two sub-event. Okay. Okay. So this is again same sample space. Okay. Now my events are nothing but, so the probability associated with all events I'm going to write. Okay. 1 by 2. I'm dividing this two event. So when you add F1 with okay, F2, you are going to get E2. Okay. So the probability associated with E2 is 1 by 2. I am dividing this event into two sub-event F1 and F2. I am going to take P of F1 is 1 by 4 and P of F2 is 1 by 4. So by adding these two probability, I am getting the probability associated with the E2. Right? Okay, next. So what is my next step? I'm going to find out, okay, P of, okay. I think instead of this, okay. The probability of F1 by E2 and F2 by E2. So what is this? So I know probability of F1 is nothing but F1 is 1 by 4. Okay, 1 by 4, and probability of E2 is 1 by 2. So I'm going to find out this ratio. Okay, 1 by 4 and 1 by 2. So what is this value, anyone? This one?
1 by 2, sir.
Yeah, 1 by 2. Okay. 1 by 2, 1 by 2, right? Okay, 1 by 2 and 1 by 2. Okay. So next, so what is the rule of additivity says? So H2 is equal to H1 plus Pn H3. So it means, so what is H2? So after dividing one event into sub-event, I am considering the probability of sub-event and also main event probability. I am getting H2. Well, how to find out H2? So I can write again. H1 is nothing but, so initially I have only two events. The probabilities are nothing but, probability is nothing but P of E1 and P of E2. So it is 1 by 2 and 1 by 2. Okay. So this is HF, okay, H1. So next H2, so for calculating H2, so I'm going to use, so only one event is subdivided into two sub-event probability, right? So if you see this one, right? So I'm dividing only E2 event into two sub-event F1 and F2. I know the probability associated with these two sub-event. And also, I have one main event also. So, I should consider the probability associated with E1 and also F1, F2. And I should compute my value, okay? So, that is 1 by 4, 1 by 4, okay? So, what is this? It is nothing but P of F1. So, this is P of F2, okay? So, whereas this is going to be P of E1, okay? So next, so I should compute one more H, okay, that is H3. It is nothing but H of, so sub-event probability divided by main event probability, right? So by dividing, okay, E2 into two sub-event, I know the probabilities of sub-event probability F1 is nothing but 1 by 2, sorry, 1 by 4, okay? Whereas for F2 it is 1 by 4. So I should divide this 1 by 4 divided by, why I am going to divide by E2? Because my so which main event I am dividing that into sub-event? E2. So if I consider the sub-event probability, it is 1 by 4. So which event I have divided? The probability associated with that particular event, I am dividing E2 event into two sub-event. So I know the main E2 event probability is 1 by 2. Okay. So 1 by 4, 1 by 2. So after dividing this, I am getting some value, right? So it is going to be 1 by 2, 1 by 2. Okay. So I have to compute all the three values. So can you compute H of 1 by 2, 1 by 2 and tell me? So H1 first. So 1 by 2, 1 by 2. What is general formula for getting average information? Anyone? So summation of, you no need to take E1, E2, otherwise you can take Pi also, no problem. Okay, Pi log 1 by Pi, right? So I have only two events, I am writing that as, so Pi is varying from 1 to 2. Main event probability I am taking as P1 and P2, right? So base is 2. So can you substitute and tell me your value? So it is a 1 by 2 log 1 by 1 by 2 plus 1 by 2 log 1 by 1 by 2 base 2. How much? Yes, sir? So it is a 1 by 2 log 2 base 2 plus 1 by 2 log 2 base 2. How much it is? 1.
So 1.
1 bit. So unit is 1 bit per symbol. Okay, 1 bit per symbol. Okay. So next, you have to find out H2. So how to find out what is H2? As I told earlier, I am dividing only one even. Okay, 1 by 2. That E2 even I am dividing into 2 sub-even. So the sub-even probabilities are 1 by 4 and 1 by 4. Okay, these two. So with this, I have to compute my H again. So how to find out 1 by 2, okay, log log 2 base 2 plus 1 by 4 log 4 base 2 log 4 base 2 1 by 4. So can you tell me your value?
3 by 2.
So this is 2. Yeah, 2 by 4 plus 2 by 4, right? 3 by 4.
3 by 2, sir.
3 by 2,
3 by
sir.
2. Very good. Okay, very good. So it is a 1.5. Okay, bits per symbol. Next, so can you find out H3? So what is H3? How to get H3? I should divide the probability I am going to consider. Okay, 1 by 4 is the sub-even probability. So which even I am dividing that into sub-even, that is the E2 even, the probability associated with that is 1 by 2. So 1 by 4, 1 by 2. Okay. So can you take 1 by 2, 1 by 2. How much it is?
So 1, 1,
Yeah,
1.
1. 1 bit per symbol. Okay. Now, I want to prove H2 should be equal to H1 plus Pn H3. Okay, I am going to take this. H2 is already computed, no need to do again. So I am going to find out this value. Okay. So right hand side, I have H1 plus Pn H3. Okay, H1. So what is Pn? So the general expression, I am dividing that nth event into sub-event. Now I am dividing that second one into sub-event. What is the second event probability? It is 1 by 2, right? If you see the problem, okay, so this one, the probability associated with A2 is going to be 1 by 2, right? 1 by 2. So I should write, instead of Pn, I should write 1 by 2. Okay. So what is H3? It is this one. Okay. H3 we have already computed. So it is a 1. Okay. What is H1 value? Anyone? We have already computed.
1, sir.
Yeah, 1. So 1 plus 1 by 2 it is. So it is going to be 1.5. So it is nothing but H2. Okay. H2. So you can divide any, so it is not necessary that only one event should be divided into sub-event. Okay, you can divide any number of events into any number of sub-events. So the proof is, because I am dividing only one event into sub-event, I am considering only this expression. Okay, I think I can explain. I can take one more example and I can explain again, right? So suppose if I have again same experiment, okay, E1, E2. So this one I am going to divide. Okay, I am dividing E1 into 2 sub-event. Okay, so what is I am going to take the probability associated with this one. Okay, is going to be 1 by 2, 1 by 4 and 1 by 4 I am dividing. So earlier I have only H1 is 1 by 2, 1 by 2, right? So what is my H2 now? Can you tell me? Because I am dividing this, so both are going to be 1 by 4, okay? So for computing H2, so H of 1 by 4, 1 by 4, 1 by 4, comma 1 by 4, right? So I am dividing this E1 into 2 sub E1 and the probability associated with the sub E1s are 1 by 4. Okay? So this is my H2 value. Now, can you tell me what is my H3? For computing H3, I have two part again. Okay?
So is it 1 by 2, 1 by 2, 1 by 2, 1 by 2?
Yeah, correct. I have two part it will be, right? So in the first part, I have to consider my Pn. So suppose the main even probability, I'm going to take it as P1 and P2, for example, right? So this I'm going to take it as, so by adding these two probability, I'm getting 1 by 2. So I'm going to take maybe Q1, Q2, right? So these two. So by adding Q1 and Q2, I can get P1. So similarly, I can write this one, okay? So maybe Q3, Q4 I'm going to take. By adding Q3 and Q4, I can get my P2 value, right? P2. So what is my equation now? So for verifying the rule of additivity, again I can write H2 is equal to, H1 is not changing, H2 with this sub-even probability, because I am dividing both the events into two sub-even, with this two sub-even probability I am writing. There is no main event, okay, associated. So I can compute H2, right? So this is possible, this one is possible. So plus, what is my, so what is Pn? Pn, because I am dividing E1 into two sub-event, the probability associated with the main event is nothing but E1. So it is 1 by 2, right? So 1 by 2 H of, what is this? So 1 by 4 divided by 1 by 2, comma 1 by 4 divided by 1 by 2, right? So this is my H3. Okay, so I have one more expression because I am dividing the second even also into sub-even. So I have 1 by 2 H of 1 by 4 by 1 by 2, comma 1 by 4 by 1 by 2. Is it clear? So it is not necessary. So for simplification, I took simple value 1 by 2, 1 by 4. So it may be given as 1 by 3 or 1 by 4 or 2 by 3. Some value of probability will be given. So you should take, you have to compute the corresponding values. That is very important. So is it clear? So can you verify for this and tell me what is the value you are getting? What is H2 you are going to get? So 1 by 4, 4 times it is. So 4 into 1 by 4 log 4 it is, base 2. So what is the value you are going to get for this H2? So it is a 4
2.
into 1 by 4 log 4 base 2. Yeah, 2, correct. So 2 bit per symbol, right? What is H1? Again, it will be H1?
1.
1 bit. Okay, 1 bit per symbol only. So you have to verify, okay? H2 is 2, right? So when you substitute and when you are getting H, so this value H1 plus 1 by 2 H of this, H1 by 2 H of this. So you have to get, this is going, so you have to get total will be again 2 bit, okay? So can you verify this? So substitute H of 1 by 4 by 1 by 2 is nothing but H of 1 by 2, comma 1 by 2. So this, and this also H of 1 by 2, comma 1 by 2. So this is going to be 1. So 1 by 2 plus 1 by 2 plus 1 will be nothing but you are going to get 2, okay, always. So can you check? So if you have any difficulty, you can ask me. So it is said to be rule of additivity, okay. So it is a very important property of average information, okay. So any doubt on this part? The same procedure. So why I am going to take only one Pn? Because only one event is divided into two sub-event. So in the second problem, I am going to divide both E1 and E2 into two sub-event. So I should substitute corresponding main event probability. So unfortunately, both are going to be 1 by 2. Sometimes it may be different value also. One may be 1 by 3, other may be 2 by 3 also. So corresponding value you have to substitute and you have to verify this property. That is very important. Okay. So now you can enter your attendance. Okay. Sorry. Can you, so all of you fill up your register number for getting attendance.
Done.
Okay. So this is general additivity property. Okay. So whatever I told, same thing is available. Okay. I have a sample space. I am dividing one event into many sub events, Q1, Q2, Q3. Okay. So whatever I told, same thing is available. Only, okay. So we are getting these three values and I have to verify this property. Okay, now you can do simple problem. Okay, I have three finite scheme. The probability associated with these events I have already given. So in the first one it is 1 by 256. So second one it is 255 by 266. Right? So I have suppose in an experiment I am going to generate only two outcomes or two events. Okay. So the probability associated with those two are given as 1 by 256 and 255 by 256. Whereas for second case it is 1 by 2 and 1 by 2. Third case it is 7 by 16 and 9 by 16. Then compute the entropy for all these three cases. So I hope everybody knows this formula. Okay, log x base 2 is equal to log x base 10 into log 10 base 2. So I want to find out this value. So using calculator, so once, okay, if you are going to take log x base 2, base 10, multiply that by 3.322, you will get log x base 2. So you use log x base 10, you find out log x base 10 multiplied by 3.322, okay, you will get this log x base 2. Okay. So try to use your scientific calculator and I have to get these three values. I have got these three values. So it is a simple problem. So you are going to calculate entropy or average information for all the three. So have you got this values? So how many of you have completed? Have you finished?
Sir, first one 1.028.
No, it is correct only. You have to multiply by 3.322. Have you multiplied? So base 10 you should take, and then final expression. Okay. Finally, you have to multiply the value by 3.322. So using this. Okay. You take log x base 10, right? So I want
So
to
the
get
formula for entropy is pk log 2 pk, right?
pk.
Log 2 pk, log pk to the base 2, I mean.
No, log, say summation of pk log 1 by pk. That is.
So entropy is seen as average information.
Average information only, it is a minus sign. So to remove the minus sign, you should replace log x term by log 1 by x. Okay, log 1 by p. You are not clear with this, okay? I can show the yeah. See this one. So what is this formula? Okay. The average information formula is this, right? Minus summation of pi log pi base 2. Okay, if you want to remove this minus sign, you have to replace this log pi by log 1 by pi. Okay. Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
So I have replaced that minus sign by plus sign, right? So for log term, I should take 1 by pi. I have to substitute. So I want to find out base 2. So in the calculator, you take base 10 and then multiply that the whole term by 3.322. Okay. Okay. So anyway, you do it leisurely. Okay. Next class I can continue. We can do simple problem also again. So anyway, so these three values you have to get, right? So average uncertainty. So from these three you can write this one, right? So if you go through the probability associated with the second finite scheme, the probabilities are equal, 1 by 2 and 1 by 2. So average information, okay, is going to be 1. When you are computing average information, we are getting 1, right? So it is very difficult to guess which event is going to occur because the probabilities are equal for second case, okay, second source. Whereas the first one, average uncertainty is very, very small for scheme 1. So it is relatively easy to guess, okay? Because the probability itself, we can guess and we can say which event is going to occur. Okay? So because a large variation is there in the probability value, right? Sorry. Probability value. Okay? So 1 by 256 and 255 by 256. Okay? So you can say which event is going to occur, right? So on the third one, average information is nearly equal to 1. So so for third one also, if you compare the probabilities, so this is 7 by 16 and 9 by 16, more or less equal. Okay. So it is very easy. So it is not easy to guess which event is going to occur. Okay, for third one. Whereas first one, you can easily guess. So can you guess and tell me which event is going to occur? Because from the probability itself we can say, right? So whether S11 is going to occur or S12 is going to occur, you can say immediately.
So S12, sir.
Yeah, very good. So because this is going to be the highest probability, right? So the probability of occurrence for this is going to be high. So S12 is going to occur, right? Anyway, this is simple problem. Next class we are going to do problem based on again average information only again, right? So with this I can complete my lecture today. So today we have done a problem based on rule of additivity. Rule of additivity is a property of average information or average entropy. So you should know how to prove the rule of additivity. Sometimes the probability will be given and you have to verify. You have to apply H2, you have to get H1, you have to find out, and then P and H3 you have to find out, and then prove the property. So sometimes you have to assume your own value and you should verify that property also. Okay. Anyway, we have verified that this one. So what is the lower bound value and upper bound value for HFX? So that proof also we have done. Okay. Anyway, next class we can continue. Okay. I hope everybody has entered the attendance. So kindly select your project title. Okay. I think Friday class I can discuss. Okay. So shall we leave?